In order to understand the evolution of computing, we must go back in history, all the way to the 1950s when the first mainframe computer was made. This is an IBM mainframe computer. Yes, a computer, one that was so gigantic it would fill large rooms, and were the pioneering engineering of the time. Today, the mainframes now fit in your pocket, e.g., your mobile phone, which is equally or more powerful. So, how did we interact with these large mainframe computers back then? Well, this was done through terminals or thin clients, which connected to the centralized mainframe or mainframes, which is where the applications were executed. However, the manipulation and control happened through the thin client. Keynote, this was all done from the same location, aka in the same lab, until the next computing evolution occurred, which was the remote terminal. You see, as the world evolved and pioneering technologies became more apparent, this allowed for the distributed concept of the client server model, aka the early foundations of the internet as we know it now. Keynote, please refer back to my popular video series on network security history, which I have linked on the screen. Now, from this evolutionary point, the technology just grew and grew, as we shall see. As you can see illustrated on screen, we went from the core mainframe computer over now to the internet with a client server model using a thin client or terminal, aka home computer, which, with the advent of modern operating systems like Windows 95, allowed for the execution of decentralized applications, i.e., not centrally controlled by the mainframe. Then, fast forward a decade or so to the next evolution, which was the internet, which blew up, creating data centers all over the world, moving back to the distributed concept of client server model. Again, here is a link to my previous network security history videos covering the POTS, PSTN, ISDN, SLIP, and various networking protocols that happen in between this diagram, which is not the purpose of this particular video. Now for the next evolution, the juicy part, the cloud computing, edge computing, and fog computing. You see, the concept of virtualization led to cloud computing, which eventually was implemented in data centers, still to this day. Here is a link to my previous video on virtualization, hypervisors, and containers. So, edge and fog computing are new concepts, but where do they fit? Well, starting with edge computing, this sits in between the user's network and the data center/cloud, aka the edge, which is where devices are close to or at the endpoint, where applications are centrally controlled still in the cloud. However, the actual execution is as close to the user or network edge as possible. For example, think of the internet service providers, web servers used for static or simple page caching to save the load on the cloud or the data center. And then comes the fog, aka fog computing, an advanced computation architecture which relies on various devices such as sensors or even edge computing devices to collect data, transfer it back to the central location for processing. Generally, fog computing is positioned inside a local area network and travels and transverses to the centralized cloud or data center, collecting information along its route, including across the edge computing boundary. In other words, the processing power of the mainframe is coming to a house near you. So let's recap everything from this video. The evolution of computing, which started from a mainframe computer which was connected to from a local thin client, aka terminal, on site, which then moved remotely, aka a computer in your house, which no longer needed the mainframe. However, eventually the internet grew and the outsourcing of processing power once again reinitiated. And then came the mainframe version 2, being data centers, which then led to virtualization, which then led to cloud computing, which then led to fog and edge computing. Which means we have almost gone full circle, or somewhere stuck in the middle, hence the fog being grey. So, a question for all our wonderful subscribers. Have we simply gone full circle in computing evolution? I would love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment in the section below. And don't forget to subscribe if not already. If enough comments are produced, I will look to create a second video covering the topics discussed. And finally, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content as much as I enjoyed creating it.